Howdy do. Okay, this is a unboxing of sorts of a box from the Criterion Collection. I kind of went ham on this flash sale. Every couple times a year they do their flash sales, and I took it as a time to stock up on some Criterions that I've been meaning to get for a long time. Kind of been slacking on grabbing titles, so there was a lot of filling into my kind of library I wanted to do. I've had these custom shelves built in to the back of, this is the rear of, I call the movie room. It's not a movie theater, but it is a nice movie room in the house. And wanted to have some custom shelving built in for the library as I'm kind of re-engaging with my love for physical media, which I've always had. Always had a nice little library, but wanted to fill in some holes. Of course, maybe not of course, but if you know me, you know I've done design work with Criterion for covers. So obviously, dream job to work in any capacity with them. It was a total dream come true to do that. And over the years, a lot of my collection was like, okay, I got, the staff or family member price, a couple of freebies here and there, but you also want to support the company, and I had no problem taking advantage of the flash sale and just grabbing a bunch of stuff, which I haven't really been buying a lot of Blu-rays or records or CDs, just not as much lately. So chance to fill in the inventory. So I'm excited because I ordered tons of stuff, tons. This entire box is filled with Blu-rays. So I'm excited to fill this out. There were a lot of titles. It was a nice chance to remind myself, okay, what do I have? And I alphabetized these Criterion Blu-rays here. Actually, this section was purely organized aesthetically for, I love the light colored kind of spines. And I had them out on display just because they looked nice. You find that a lot of Blu-rays and DVDs have black spines. Probably 50% of these are black spines. And that's for any Blu-ray. I've got my main Blu-rays over here on this other part. But I liked how that looked. And then you got the boxes. These are all slip cases, or I guess you call them digipacks, instead of the clear clamshell. So I have all the digipacks here. This is what I've got. These are boxes, including Tati, Demi, the trilogies and things like that. Decalogue, Coquer, Before, stuff like that. And then these are all alphabetized. So I can actually be slotting these in as I go, which will be kind of fun. Here's some more slipcases. It's not a perfect setup yet, but we're going to fill this out today and see what's in this box. There have been some things I've needed. And of course, you go through the Criterion site and you can find hundreds of things you want. So you add a bunch to your cart. Whew, that's the receipt. I worked hard to make that purchase happen. But you kind of go through your cart and you delete the ones that are, okay, this isn't the top priority right now. I'll get that later. So very lucky to be able to grab some of these. This is exciting. I'm going to go right to what looks like to be the slipcases first. So I'll just show you, this is what it looks like, the box as I open it. Here are my titles right here. I think you can see that, okay. You see Haneke's Funny Games has the face-up placement, priority placement in this box. I don't know if whoever assembled this did that on purpose, but love Haneke. So I'll talk about each title. Okay, and by the way, I have some Criterion DVDs still. I've kept any Criterion DVD that does not have a Blu-ray edition that I had. Those are in the other section. This is just Blu-ray shelving. So start here with, we'll start with this. Jules and Jim. So this was one that existed on DVD. I had the DVD. And then they from time to time, Criterion will remaster or have a new master to work with, new transfer, etc., do a new edition. Sometimes it keeps the existing cover art. Sometimes they do brand new cover art. In this case, they kept what they had. And this edition's been around for a long time, or this cover art has been around. So this is a new upgrade edition. It's got a nice thick slipcase here. You can see. And I kind of want to open each one as I talk about them. Is that weird? I want to go ahead and open them. I get these to watch them. I don't want to just have them sit and never be opened. So let's go ahead and look at them as I go. So here's the slipcase. We have this beautiful art. Oh no. From time to time, the discs are loose, so that's okay. It happens. You're just going to make sure they're nothing damaged or anything like that. We're good. Pop these back in. So this is a DVD and Blu-ray edition. I don't know how many of those they've done. DVD, 2 disc, and then the Blu-ray. Got it. I put these on the wrong way. Try that again. I'll figure this out later, I guess. Okay, that's I've never seen quite that digipack setup, so sorry. You know what, I'm just gonna set that aside and worry about that later. But anyway, comes with a nice uncoated stock booklet. So since I've done DVDs and Blu-rays and still doing them, one of the reason I'm getting back into physical media is I've got 3, 4, 5 Blu-ray covered packages that I'm working on right now for various companies. Kind of getting back into it, so it's been fun. I really appreciate the design of all these, and I always want to know who did each one, and you take inspiration from what your other designers are doing. So I love these uncoated stock. This is when you have no coating at all, no matte finish. It's just the old feeling of that tactile uncoated paper. You love that. I love using uncoated. So yeah, beautiful stuff. David Downton did the drawings, and they're great. This is a really iconic Jules and Jim cover to me. Okay, so this will go with my digis over here. We'll organize them. Okay, this is a big one for me. This is The Red Balloon and Other Stories. Albert Lamouris. Probably not saying that exactly right. But one of my big things is the cinema of childhood, you could call it. And people have called it. And what I mean by that is films about childhood. Films about coming of age. Sometimes they are films for children. Sometimes they are films for adults about coming of age. My Life as a Dog, to name just an example right behind me. Anyway, I love children's literature. I grew up really loving fairy tales and all that kind of stuff. And I collect kind of children's picture books, and I've worked with some ideas for children's books myself. And I just love the cinema of childhood. And when you really start digging into it and thinking about it, all films are about childhood. That's the funny thing. Especially if you see, coming of age is essentially the crossing of a threshold where you understand things that you had no way of understanding before. That's a great story. That's all it is. So The Red Balloon is, of course, the iconic children's film, and Janice has always had The Red Balloon and White Mane, another film, and there were those bare bones DVDs of both of them, but they've now put together all of them, including Bim the Little Donkey, Stowaway in the Sky, which I've never seen. I'm excited to see that, and Circus Angel. So these are all together. It's actually priced higher than a normal Blu-ray on Criterion, but that's quite all right. I'm excited for these. This is what the discs look like. And here's the booklet. And so we have some little essays, a couple things about each one. Interesting. Oh, little descriptions for each one. And then there's one long essay, maybe it looks like. So I just love these. They're almost like little fables made in a mature, sophisticated way aimed at children. You really don't get a lot of this kind of stuff. And that's why these are so special to me. I'm very excited to finally have that on Blu-ray forever. All About Eve. So wanted to grab this one because it is my lady, my wife. It's probably her #1 favorite film of all time. So, I don't know if you have a wife or a husband who also collects physical media. Mine does not at all. Mine does not quite get why I love collecting physical media. But I got to sweeten the deal for her by making sure I've got her favorite film of all time on Blu-ray. And it's an amazing film. one of the best films, one of the best women's pictures, I say, and that is a film about women made in a time when there weren't as many, about strong leading women who do not play a subordinate role to the male characters in Hollywood. And, you know, not to say there aren't other examples of that, but this is just such a sharp, beautifully written and performed film in that mode. It's great. It's amazing. Had to have it. I remember growing up, it was one of those that you even bandy about in your conversations of what is the greatest movie of all time. You know, kind of if you're gonna say something like Casablanca, you kind of also have to shout out something like All About Eve, and you hear that every now and then. Okay, shout out to Sister Hyde. One of my filling out my Sister Hyde. Drew is a friend designer of some covers recently and packages, and it's the David Lynch approved. So Lynch is one of my favorite directors, bar none. Like probably like the day he leaves us from this from his mortal coil or whatever, sheds his mortal coil, it's going to be a big blow to cinema. I'm a big, huge fan. I like this really slim slipcase for Elephant Man. I love the design. It looks like a almost pointillistic penciled almost portrait. And Lynch really doesn't stray far from his previous key art decisions when he makes a release and he's involved in a release. You really don't want to stray far from the Lynch style. I say this because I worked on a Lynch project once, which was the Twin Peaks TV and Fire Walk With Me soundtrack LPs that Death Waltz commissioned me to design. They were later released by Mondo. It was held up for a while. Jay Shaw and I ended up kind of collaborating on the final design. The point being, if you're doing something for Lynch, he does not want to stray too far from the Lynch look when it comes to, he has been involved in all of his one sheets, and you don't need to try to out David Lynch. So what I love about Drew is how she's handled this. It's very in line with the original theatrical poster. It feels similar, same energy. In a respectful way, also having a unique treatment for this Criterion release. So love that. We have the booklet. We have the disc right here. Very creative use of a frame that kind of falls in shape with the C there. Very nice, Drew. Always love seeing Drew's work, and I've got another one of Drew's in here, if not a couple more. So part of one reason I buy certain Blu-rays is just to appreciate the package design that either really inspires me or someone I know has worked on. I just want to see their work in the flesh and kind of look at it. Okay, speaking of Lynch, Blue Velvet. Again, notice how this does not stray from the Lynch mold visually. This is the exact title treatment. The blue curtain. This is actually pretty similar to the red curtain you see in Twin Peaks. And Fire Walk With Me in particular, that was the cover that was approved by Lynch when I worked on the project, and he personally approved that, where the entire cover of the LP was just a red curtain. It was just the red curtain, just like this is a blue curtain. So that's a nice little echo. So Blue Velvet, yeah, I have to have every Lynch. I have to have every Lynch on Blu-ray. It's just that simple. You have some iconic iconography from the mythology of this film. Blue Velvet is one of his it's one of the first a lot of people go to. At least it was back in the day. And on the production credits here, we have Fred Davis. Nice. Fred Davis is a Criterion luminary who's done a lot of... really, he did the Mulholland Drive, so he's already done the Lynches before for Criterion. So very nice to finally have Blue Velvet Blu-ray. Just, again, getting a lot of stuff that I've been meaning to have for a very long time. These are not just like side interests. These are like canon of my experience with films and the film canon titles I have to have in my library. And And there's some modern ones. So again, I'm grabbing all the digis first. Uncut Gems. This is a weird cover, right? They actually released another cover first, and then they changed it to this cover. I'm sure that, here's one of my soapboxes. I'm not going to get on for too long. I remember this cover was changed and was like, that cover's awful. It's just a big picture of Adam Sandler. Guys, you don't know what goes behind the contracts of these covers. Adam Sandler probably had a likeness clause where Criterion needed or wanted to have a still of Adam Sandler on it. Stars have contracts, stars have requirements. I don't know what they were for this, but always give the designers the benefit of the doubt. The worst thing about the internet, and there's a lot of great things that we all enjoy, but the worst is just the armchair experts that the knee-jerk responses to designs and saying, I wouldn't, here's how I would design, here's how I fix this design and all this kind of stuff. You don't know what goes into it. Don't comment on it unless you know the process involved. So who knows why, but at least it's got this cool silvery thing, and it's got some nice type. That's cool because the silver foil goes around to the entire wrap of the branding, which is very cool. It's got an iridescent sheen, a lot of metallic. I don't know if it's just the stock that's metallic. It looks like it is because the inside is also that way. And you can print on metallic paper and metallic cardboard. It's pretty fun. Okay, now we're really getting wild on the interior digi. So Uncut Gems, Safdie Brothers. Really wild ride. Whoa, and the booklet is blinged out as a jewelry catalog. Look at that. It's ultra glossy as opposed to the Jules and Jim booklet. Diamond Treasure Collection. This doesn't even say Uncut Gems. This is like a pretend catalog. And down here it says Uncut Gems. Wow, that's crazy. So it's designed to look like a chintzy, chintzy jewelry catalog. That's amazing. It's got the essays built in with order forms. Very cool. Very cool. Is that dorky to say? Very cool. Howard Ratner. Oh my God. I've only watched this once, and it was in the theater, and it's such an intense film. I don't know how many times I'll revisit it, but I'm definitely ready to give it another watch. And it's always one you want to introduce people to. It's a fun one to share with people. So Uncut Gems from recent years. Also from recent years, while we're on the digis, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I just had to have it because I'm a stop motion animation lover. Stop motion to me, the amount of craftsmanship and work that goes into them, I am always just so in awe of, and I love the craft of it. I love the tactile, physical effect of stop motion animation. Even if this film wasn't in my top 10 for, what was it, 2022, a couple years ago? Yeah, 2022. I liked it. I didn't love it, but still just to have this, to make sure I can go back to it, appreciate this stop motion animation, go scene by scene, just savor and languish in the details of it. I wanted to be sure I could do that and have it always in my library. Love stop motion, have all the Aardman stuff, have all the way down to Shaun the Sheep. Obsessed. Can't wait for the new Wallace and Gromit. Love the Wes Anderson stop motions. Fantastic. Mr. Fox is probably my favorite. Wes Anderson, etc. You get the gist. But here's the disc. Here's the package for Pinocchio. We have a nice. We got a wraparound pop-up style custom die cut. Oh no, we have some damage. Oh yeah. I see. One good thing about Criterion is if anything is ultra damaged, you can usually get a replacement pretty easily. They'll probably would even send me another one of these cases. But you have these dual stacking discs. And when you have stacking discs in the plastic packs, especially with shipping, because there was some bubble wrap in here, but it wasn't completely wrapped all the way around. Anyway, if you ever have anything wrong or damage, Criterion will usually send you a replacement. But it's hard because you're doing these Blu-ray and 4K in some cases, and you're trying to include the DVD in some cases, like Jules and Jim. That's a rare example. But multiple disc stacking, you come up with these new clamshells, and sometimes they break off. So that's what this was. I might have them send me another one if it doesn't hold at all. So we'll see about that. But again, a nice uncoated book. I love this. this has this beautiful pattern. This is very classic, very in line with the authentic kind of Italian folk in source material, which is the story Pinocchio. Beautiful uncoated pages. Nice. I'm sure I think there is a full making of book, and I like to get those as well for certain animated films, especially stop motion. I love seeing all the concept art and stuff like that. So I bet that a lot of that is out there. I think there's a book. I probably should get it because it's just be cool to have. But I like the movie. It's just not like my absolute favorite. I'm kind of that way about every Guillermo del Toro, though. He's the best. He's such a force for good in cinema, and I love him for that. I think they went in like that. I like this actually. Put it back in the correct way. I do love the I love the title treat. I love the title treatment itself. Some people would say logo, but in film key art design, usually it's called a title treatment. And if you hear me say title treatment, that's what I mean, is how the title is done. So Pinocchio, good. Other digis, and we're already at a long video. Okay. Oh, speaking of Lynch, last one. I think I got Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. I've got the Twin Peaks Ultimate Collection, which is, golly, speaking of bad disc design, bad clamshell design, this Twin Peaks that I have, and I can probably show you since we're making a video right now. If I can reach it right here. 1 second. Let's see if I can reach this. Pardon me. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Pardon my reach. So I did get the Twin Peaks television collection here, and there's all these different editions of Twin Peaks, and this is Blu-ray, and it has the original 2 seasons and the return on it. But when you see images of it online, it looks like it's in a nice box, something like one of these Criterion boxes, with a nice sturdy feeling to it. But it's this rounded, it's like a crayon box feeling to it, with this wrap that kind of doesn't even look super well printed, and like, from what I've heard, you can see on the side, there's so many discs and they stack on top of each other. So the one flaw of this product, is that the discs stack like 3 on top of literally on top of each other. So a lot of people who are purists about the discs being in good condition and making sure they don't get much wear and tear, you have that problem of them actually stacking, and people have resorted to taking out their Twin Peaks discs and putting them into separate holders and reconfiguring it. This is really bad design. And I'm not saying these are, but it's hard to package multiple discs without getting bulky. Anyway, that Twin Peaks it does not have Fire Walk with Me, so you need to get the movie separately. Of course, I'm a Twin Peaks fan and completionist, so here we go. And again, you can see here, original key art. David Lynch does not want to mess with this. He does not want to stray from this. You could have had, a million designers do all kinds of different, illustrations or whatever, their own interpretations of Twin Peaks. A million artists have already done this, I'm sure, and done their own Twin Peaks fan art. Lynch wants to keep it exactly as he originally envisioned. And that's what I imagine. See, again, a nice still. You're not really messing with the stills too much. In fact, the Elephant Man that Drew did is the one that's diverted the most. Here's a beautiful perfect bound. Perfect bound means it's got that flat binding on the side. So, yeah. A nice little icon on the disc. Okay, so this is a nice slim digi. And we're about ready to get to the clamshells. I can probably speed this up. I decided to start opening them, and now okay, yeah. We'll start with Funny Games then. Face up, Michael Haneke's Funny Games. He's by far one of my favorite filmmakers alive. His last one, Happy End, was, I think everyone's least favorite. So I was a little disappointed. I think that he said about how he wanted to make the ultimate film about the internet. And I think he just got so overwhelmed with that concept, he almost didn't know what to do with it. Funny Games, you know, he's remade himself. So this is the original Funny Games, 1997. Not the Naomi Watts version. And he remade his own film shot for shot, which is pretty amazing. Especially if you've seen the film and you know the twist, I will say, of this film. Just, man, Haneke, I don't like violence, but Haneke is saying something. And if you're going to be violent in your films, I need you to be saying something. Some people find it too on the nose, but it needs to be said what this film says. So I'm all for it. And we can start slotting these in alphabetically almost, I would say. So let me slide these down and bring these over. Criterion has released The Piano Teacher with Isabelle Huppert in terms of Haneke. These are going to tilt just for a second. But they've also, Piano Teacher and then the Michael Haneke trilogy, which is his early films. Seventh Continent, which is his first feature. Benny's Video, amazing film about our violence in culture and how it's absorbed into our youth via media. He's always saying something very interesting, and I love his films. So, Funny Games, where are you, F? Okay. And, you know, I don't know if I'm even going to post this. If you like it, let me know. Fantastic Planet, the famous animated film, the French René Laloux, French animated film, amazing. Gotta have it. Again, animation head over here, so got to have this. I actually did a Japanese design for Fantastic Planet for the, there's a company in Japan called Cinephile Imagica. If you're in Japan watching this, you know them. If you don't, they're essentially kind of like the Criterion in Japan, doing nice boutique releases of Blu-rays, very high-end, very nice. New transfers that they source on their own and stuff. And there was a Blu-ray of Fantastic Planet. Was it DVD only? Actually, it might have been DVD only before even Blu-rays became as mainstream. But anyway, I did Japanese exclusive art for that. So yeah, Fantastic Planet. Here we go. So yeah, I experimented with a lot of different things for this. Oh, we got a fold-out insert for this one. So let's check this out. We have, sometimes the booklets are fold-out poster style. So this one opens up so where you read the essay in the shape of the little aliens. And then on this side, it's a horizontal poster. So if you really wanted to, you could flatten that out. I'm not the biggest fan of these. It's fine. It's fine. They're using all the stills, and you know, you don't want to, again, a lot of times in the design, are you venturing away from the look of the film, or are you just leaning into the look of the film and honoring the look of the film? So that's what it's doing, and it's fine. Fantastic. Double Life. I don't have any Criterions that start with the letter E, although Eraserhead is supposed to be in this box. The Others. Recently saw this again on 35mm at the Belcourt, thanks to their Nicole Kidman series. They did an amazing Kidman tribute this year when Kidman got her AFI Award. That's one reason I love the Belcourt in Nashville. We got to watch all these Kidman films, including Birth on 35mm, one of my favorite films of the 2000s. Also loved The Others by Alexandre Amenabar. And he directed and did the score to this film. Just one thing I love about him and his work. And yeah, here's the package. Here's the booklet. Oh, interesting. This is a fold out. So again, sometimes you have a bound or stapled book. This is a folding out book with all the essay and text on one side, and then on this side, portraitures of the cast and the credits. So illustrator was Greg Ruth, designer Eric Skillman. You guys know Eric, in-house designer. Illustrator, wow. So is that an illustration? if that is, I can't even tell. That's insane. Okay, I need to look into that and see. Greg Ruth's phenomenal. I guess maybe that cover is an illustration. That's insane. Let me know. Okay, others going there. Okay, Grey Gardens. This is one where had to have the Blu-ray, had the DVD package of Grey Gardens and Beals of Grey Gardens. Oh, and it's got both of them on here. Just an essential documentary, the Maisels brother, Maisels. An essential documentary canon title, so had to have it. Grey Gardens. Kept the original design, which I really love. And then that's interesting, this booklet here with the Grey Gardens. I wonder what that's inspired by. It almost looks like a book cover, like a reference to something they had. So if I watch the film, I might understand again what this green and gold design is all about with the mirror on the back. It's pretty cool. Got the chapters on the inside and the disc there. So Grey Gardens. I had to double check that I didn't have any of these because I went so nuts on this sale that I was like, okay, I gotta make sure I don't already have any of these and don't do anything stupid. Oh my God. This is one of my favorite. This is almost like my own little Criterion Closet video, I guess, because I get to comment on all these things and it's going on forever. But one of my favorite discoveries of the last year is this. It's another documentary, C.A. Pennebaker. And it's not, don't look now. Don't look back. Don't look back. It's the original cast album company. You actually probably just saw Andrew Garfield pick this in his closet video, which made me love him even more. In addition to the fact that he said there's nothing that means more to him than basketball. So I love that. But amazing, amazing portrait of the creative process, particularly in theater and song. Amazing stuff. Oh, that's awesome. Original cast album company. So I love keeping the like palette, the orange and purple palette of that. It's just awesome. It's awesome. Now, do you file that under O for original or C for company? I'm gonna go company for now. You can do what you like. Then we've got here's my other Sister Hyde title. I hope my images flipped when this comes out. After Hours. I've been excited just to see what Drew did on this package. Really nice photo collage for Scorsese's After Hours. Love the treatment, the kind of high contrast. Sister Hyde style is great. I love seeing how she does her dithering and collaging and stuff. It feels very handmade. The original title and billing is integrated in a really nice way. And then, yeah, always creative choices through the rest of the packaging. Another creative disc here. The inner slip is more of the New York map. And then this is funny here. Oh, we've got this drawing here. And then we've got, oh wow, really Xeroxy designs here in yellow and black, 2-color. Nice, stretching out all the way. Beautiful type, beautiful design. Love Drew's work, so that's awesome. I can't wait to dig into this some more. After Hours, great spine too. Look, spine, so tile treatment. Original tile treatment, right? Honored on the front. Different tile treatment on the side. I had to do this for a house because the house lettering has the long letters going way up high at the end, and you can't fit that on a spine. And After Hours is the same. You look how tall those letters are. You'd have to shrink the whole thing down really to get it on the spine. So we have a nice, the sub font, I guess you might say, is how can I get this to focus better? I don't know. Anyway, the sub font that's used on the inside is used on the spine. Okay, After Hours is going to go here. Before Age of Innocence. That's the first title now, A-wise. I got the numbered 8.5 and 39 steps, and then we got After Hours. Okay, Miller's Crossing. Got to have basically all the classic Coens on Blu-ray. What more needs to be said about that? Let's go ahead and open this up. Got to have the classic Coen Brothers titles, and this is definitely one of them. I don't love the genre that You call it gangster. It's not a typical gangster film. Ooh, nice illustrations in here. I love the palette overall. The brown, the blacks, the yellows, the tans, and this beautiful, again, uncoated. You can see how nice this is. Portrait of Byrne there. And another fold out, but really still very designed with that nice limited palette. Beautifully designed overall. And the art on this one was done by Patrick Leger. Cool. And, for the illustrations. And then Eric Skillman handling the design overall. So beautiful work, Eric, as always. Let's go to Miller LM. This is going after Me and You and Everyone We Know and Before My Life as a Dog, the aforementioned. The greatest film of all time, Sight and Sound, Jeanne Dielman. Can I get this to focus? Why is it not? Is it better? I can't tell. Anyway, I don't know. I'm probably shouldn't be using the selfie cam, but whatever. You guys get the idea. Jeanne Dielman, this is the Blu-ray edition, and I didn't have it, so gotta have it. Love this film. Discovered it in film school at NYU. You get turned on to this pretty quickly if you're in film school and are ahead of the curve when it comes to that sight and sound drop. But I love the clean design of this, man. I love that clean type. Love me a white border. This is very Sammy design to me. I love this. I love the stills used. Border on the front, border on the back. Borders are hard to pull off because you got to trim it right. And then, yeah, that's a lot saying here. So, beautifully done. One of the longer films you'll see, but a must-see. Steve Chow did the design, so shout out to you. I don't know you, and it'd be cool if you ever... I had the chance to tell you, beautiful job on the package. H-I-J... Okay, Jeanne Dielman. There's a lot to go. Ali Fear Eats the Soul. Always needed to have this since I discovered it. I'm not as much of an expert on Fassbinder, as a lot of film nerds and film fans love Fassbinder. I don't know. I haven't quite got him as much as you can admit when you just don't quite get someone. Get a movie like others do, and that's okay. World on the Wire, though, I loved, and I got to do the poster for that for Janus Films and Criterion. It's on the Criterion Blu-ray. I did that one. And then this one. Both of those really hit me. Like this, I really got this movie, and maybe I can revisit more of his other films now. But I love this cover design, and I want to say this might be also a Fred Davis. This is a design that's been around for a while for Criterion. They've kept it this whole time. So on the art, Michael Boland, of course. Michael Boland is another perennial Criterion designer. Everything he does is so elegant. And that's the key word, the use of the type and the stills. Usually not a lot of straying from the original photography and look of the film, but something beautiful and fitting always, every time. This is my second film alphabetically now. Oh no, it's my third. It goes after Age of Innocence. After Hours, Age of Innocence, and Ali. Whew. Okay, we might take a break and go to part 2. Let's do that. Okay, here for part 2. That was a several-day break. I didn't mean for that to happen, but this was just taking way too long, and I gotta go faster. So I'm gonna go faster through the rest, and then pivoted over here to this new angle because I'm pretty happy with the custom Blu-ray shelving that I just had installed in my closet. This over here is kind of like my standard Blu-rays and kids movies, and this is some DVDs I still keep for titles that are only on DVD, and some other box sets and things. And then there's this middle rack I'm going to kind of build out for my components and stuff, but it's pretty sweet setup. So yeah, my guy Travis hooks it up. All right, I'm going to keep going through the Criterion releases. I'm going to try to go faster. F for Fake. Yeah, just a canonical piece for me. It's a really cool Orson Welles kind of meta documentary of sorts about cinema itself. I love it. It's probably my favorite Orson Welles thing. I mean, I'm not like a old Hollywood Orson Welles, like he's not like my number one director, put it that way. Even though I acknowledge his contributions and whatnot, he's a master, crazy character and really interesting person in film history, but really cool documentary. F for Fake. Okay, Three Women. Had to get this Altman because I love Altman, especially when he does these kind of films. The more artsy, the better for me, and the more female-centric, the better. Although McCabe and Mrs. Miller is probably the masterpiece for me. But this one too, Shelley Duvall, in honor of you and her passing, had to make sure I had this title. It's one that I really thought I had already gotten long ago, but finally getting that. Again, filling out a lot of things I just didn't have. Okay, cool. The Daytrippers. This is a more contemporary 90s indie comedy that I just discovered thanks to Allison Inman. And loved discovering this film and was so excited to hear that it was coming to Criterion. It's so fun and funny. Parker Posey, Liev Schreiber, Campbell Scott, Stanley Tucci. Just so good. Definitely see it if you haven't. It's a great comedy. Beau Travail. You know, I'm not as huge on Beau Travail as some people. Like, I think it made, what, number 10 or 11 in the Sight and Sound top 10, just announced this year. Or last year, whenever it was. You guys saw my reaction, if you watched my channel, where I predicted Jeanne Dielman winning. A little humble brag, I have to rub it in. Nostragamji hype in the chat. But yeah, Beau Travail, this is a pretty edition. Actually, the blue design looks awesome in person. Love this. I don't know if this is a Michael Boland design. Let me remind myself. Ooh, very nice. I like when the casting credits are in the inside digi. Okay, so this is a fold-out wrap. Fold-out booklet, rather. Okay, interesting. Look at that. That's a real still where they got that. It's that much of a silhouette. And when you zoom in on that still, that's cool. Michael Boland called it. Yes. I know Boland's work, when I see it, it's just always so elegant and great with photography. So, but I do, yeah, as I'm not as big on Beau Travail as some people, but it's definitely one I want to have. I mean, the Denis Lavant is just, I'm kind of in the Harmony Korine camp of like him being the greatest actor ever. Him and like, you know, I think he said once that like him and Buster Keaton are like the greatest actors. Alain René's Night and Fog. Wanted to have this on the new Blu-ray edition. It's one of the Criterions I always had on DVD. And I wanted to get it. It's only 30 minutes. But you know, Nazi concentration camp Holocaust documentary. I should have just said it that way. Really, really good. You know, considered one of the best in that area. Coppola, Virgin Suicides. Sofia Coppola. Yeah, love Sophia. Love her early work. Love Marie Antoinette especially, but also Virgin Suicides. Got to see this in the 1999 series at the Belcourt this year. And it was awesome to revisit. Of course, Air, one of my favorite bands, if not my favorite band ever, doing the score. So good. So yeah, definitely wanted to have the Virgin Suicides in the library. Okay, another contemporary, super contemporary classic for me is Sound of Metal. This was my #1 film of 2019. Yes, it was just one that I was not even expecting to hit me the way it did. I am a drummer, as you might know, so, but that's not really why, that's not at all why I connected to this film. I just thought it was an incredibly beautiful story, powerful, incredibly powerful. And the art is so good. I mean, this is an amazing cover. And I want to remind myself of who designed it. So let me take a look real quick. Yeah, I love the two-tone, just the pink and black. It's not even pink. It's almost like a salmon-y peach color. Just great. That's just great. Production credits. William Labori. Okay, great. William Labori. So I need to reach out to him and give him props for this design. Just great. But yeah, Sound of Metal. If you haven't seen it, one of the best films of the, last several years, in my opinion. Okay. Oh my God, El Sur. I don't know if this is focusing really well when I'm holding these up. I don't know if it is, but you guys generally know what the covers look like and can look them up further. But El Sur is Victor Arice, or Arice. I think it's Arice. Director of Spirit of the Beehive. Famously known to have only made a couple narrative films. One is Spirit of the Beehive. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm so excited about this. I'll tell you why. Because I rewatched Spirit of the Beehive this year, and then with his new film called Close Your Eyes coming out, which is he's made after like a 20-30 year absence from narrative film. He made like a documentary, but only a few films in general, only a couple of narrative films. El Sur was his second film after Spirit of the Beehive, second narrative film. And it's almost a spiritual sequel, also about a young girl, also in wartime. I watched this, I watched Spirit of the Beehive, then I watched El Sur the next day, on the same day as watching Close Your Eyes. Floored by this film, by far the discovery of the year for me. I love coming of age cinema of childhood. It's got a booklet, but it's also got this. It's got two booklets. It's got a fold out, but then it's got this uncoded. I've shown you guys how much I love uncoded. You can even see how beautiful that is. That could have almost been the cover. Oh, this is the novella. That's amazing. Okay, cool. You almost could have seen that being the cover. I wonder if it was an alternate comp for the cover. And that looks so beautiful together. Definitely one of my... This was the number one thing I put in my cart when this sale came on. El Sur. Incredible. Being There, had to get the Peter Sellers film. Hal Ashby, of course. Yeah, this one had a big impact on me as I was in college, kind of discovering art film or just other films for the first time. So here we have the booklet and the disc. And yeah, definitely worth seeing if you haven't yet. Hoop Dreams, I somehow did not have this in my collection. Not just one of the great documentaries, and kind of an early entry into the documentary canon. There's been a lot of great documentaries since this was famously hailed by Ebert in 1994. He might have put it on his Sight and Sound list, actually. I don't know, but I think it was his number one of that year. He was a big champion of it. But just a great basketball film. I mean, it's a great documentary overall. But I happen to be a big basketball fan, so I had to have Hoop Dreams in the collection. Make sure you see it if you love documentaries. Oh, there's so many left. I need to start going a little faster. Okay, Onibaba. So one of my Criterion projects I was lucky enough to work on was Kuroneko by Kaneto Shindo. And he made Kuroneko and Onibaba. And those are really his two narrative features. Ooh, nice uncoded booklet. Beautiful uncoded booklet. I love this. I'm so excited. Onibaba came before Kuroneko. It's a little more primitive, more primal, rural. Kuroneko is a little more formal in terms of the setting, but they're both ghost stories if you love just like Japanese folk horror, or you could call the fantastique, or gothic. Just so good. Shindo's amazing. Okay, another film I was able to revisit in the 1999 series. Of course, it's the anniversary. I guess 25 years of 1999. That makes more sense when I think about it. Lynn Ramsey's Ratcatcher. Not only a beautiful film that I love so much in my top 10. Well, top 10 of 99 is very competitive. As we know, a lot of people love 99. I, in particular, have been a big 99 guy. Ever since 99, I was running around my high school telling everyone this is the best year for film. Just great. Probably in my top 10 of 99. But got to see it again. One of the early Criterion covers I was really drawn to design-wise. I really love this design. So I love that it carried over there. And it's actually from an original poster. Here we have A Brief History of Time, the Errol Morris documentary. I've forgotten that I put this in my cart. It's a documentary kind of on Stephen Hawking and on the contents of A Brief History of Time. It's a fascinating kind of hybrid. You know, A Brief History of Time was Hawking's greatest work, classic, you know, work of astronomy, astrophysics. I love astronomy and astrophysics. I'm a big astronomy geek. So I've read Brief History of Time, but this is not a direct adaptation of A Brief History of Time. It's more of a portrait of Hawking as well. So it's really cool as a documentary and a space film. Salesman. You know what? I've never seen this film, even though I love the Maisels. I love Grey Gardens. We already bought that one. Always loved this cover of Salesman. Always loved this. And great iconic Criterion cover right there. I think it's also based on an original poster. Cool typography. And I haven't seen it yet. So I'm really excited. I just blind bought this one because I knew it would be great. And also because I think it was Andrew Garfield in his closet video picked this one too. And, you know, he had great taste with his other picks. I feel like Andrew Garfield and I would be friends. I really do. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just like standing out, but there we go. Salesman. Very cool. I can't wait to watch it. 91 minutes. These spines are starting to look real nice together. Okay, Taste of Cherry, Kiarostami. All I will say about this one, even though it's one of my lesser favorite Kiarostamis, or not my top, when we had a Kiarostami series for the recent retrospective where all his films were restored, including the Coquer trilogy, which we have here. The films of Kiarostami became instantly favorites of mine, and he's just a director. I don't know, other people, everyone I know who's discovered his work and dug into his work has kind of had the same experience, which is like, you got to put him on the Mount Rushmore of cinema. Honestly, you have to put Kiarostami in the Mount Rushmore. I really would. I really would. You'll see as you watch his films why. That's all I'm going to say. So I really hope that, I'm so glad I got to discover him later in life. I mean, I'm not young anymore, and there's so much cinema to discover still. And Kiarostami, just the fact that I kind of never dug into his work, it was such a reward to get into it. And there's so much more to even discover. I need to be rewatching them and studying him even more. Shout out to Richard Vance. Bresson is also probably in my Mount Rushmore. I know the Mount Rushmore is getting crowded, but I go Kubrick, Miyazaki, Bresson, Kiarostami. That's off the top of my head. I'd have to think about it more. You got David Lynch I would have to think about, but Bresson is one of my favorite directors. Musette, I didn't have it on Blu-ray, and gotta have it. Every Bresson. I cannot wait for the other Bressons to get restored. Four Nights of a Dreamer, Gentle Creature. Four Nights of a Dreamer is getting restored, but he's got a few of these late films that most people have not seen yet, outside of rare screenings at retrospectives and stuff like the Belcourt got to have. And that was amazing when I got to see those on the big screen. Ridley Scott's Thelma Louise, one of the ultimate Ridley Scott bangers, one of the best films of the 90s. You got to have it on Blu-ray. The Cremator, classic Czech horror. I love Czechoslovak films of the, Czech New Wave, the 60s and late 60s and 70s. Just absolutely love this stuff. It's pretty wild, avant-garde, and visionary, and aesthetically beautiful stuff. And I'll confess, I haven't seen this one yet. I'm excited to see it. Yeah, I go for a lot of the Czech like fairy tale films, and this is one of the more macabre ones. I can't wait to watch it. Love this artwork. So this is a great Criterion cover to me. Beautiful collage work here and handwritten type with great textures in here. Who did this art? Let's give them a quick shout out. All the way opening up to La Moutique. Very good. La Moutique. La Moutique. Shout out to you guys. I need to also hit y'all up and give you my props on that. Okay, we're getting down to the last handful. We're moving quicker. This is good. Brazil. I mean, what can be said? I had the big Criterion DVD box with the 3 discs in there. Just phasing out of certain Criterion DVDs once the Blu-rays are announced and out there into the world. Go ahead and upgrade. And I did. I got some of my Criterions that I had new versions of. We went ahead and sold those and have this nice upgrade. So Brazil, Terry Gilliam, it's a masterpiece. What can be said? But I need to study it more, honestly. You know, Gilliam's fallen off a little bit, but I'm a big champion of him. Like, I love Thailand, and I'm always kind of rooting for him. You kind of have to. 12 Monkeys I love too. So yeah, Brazil. Definitely need to revisit it now that I'm a little bit older, you know. Another older Criterion title from the kind of classic early Criterion releases that were so iconic, Elevator to the Gallows. Not just Jean Moreau, not just Miles Davis, but director Louis Malle. He is one of my, I've said this a lot, he's one of my favorite directors. He's one of my favorite French directors. Probably after Bresson, I go Louis Malle. Just love his work. That's one of his early ones, so it's more like it's not even a straightforward noir. It's a French noir, which is going to be more interesting to me than a Hollywood noir every time. And it is a little bit artful as it's done. And of course, the Miles Davis live score is just awesome. The Dardenne brothers are filmmakers I've never gotten super deep into. I've been a little mixed on some of their films, but when we do, we have a series that we do with some friends, or we did one year in particular, really big, called Can Apart, and we like Band Apart, Can Apart, and we watch Cannes directors work while the Cannes Film Festival is going on. So we take one film from each director in Cannes in the current year and watch one of their classic films. And we did this in a big group right before COVID. And for the Dardenne brothers, we did Rosetta. And I was floored by this one. I think we gave we did awards at the end. I think we gave the Best Actress prize here for Rosetta. So, yeah. Great. Okay, a few more. We're getting down to the bottom. Ooh, nice. Along with Sound of Metal, and I think same year. No, not same year. Sound of Metal 2019, and this is 2021. And this was in my top 3 or 4 of the year. Oh, such a underappreciated, already I think, very criminally underappreciated film. It is Mia Hansen Loves Bergman Island with Vicky Krieps and Mia Wasikowska. And yeah, just love this film. Tim Roth as well. Now, when I hold this up, it's just not focusing, is it? Maybe it is. I can't tell. But yeah, Bergman Island. Give it a watch if you have not yet. Okay, a few left, and there are a few digits. Okay, so here we go. Oh, one more hard shell. It's My Dinner with Andre. This is another upgrade. I watched this when I was young. It's a great film to watch when you're starting to get into film and like philosophy and everything and just like life. It's a talking movie. It's a talking about ideas kind of movie. If you love the Before trilogy or Linklater's work, you're going to love My Dinner with Andre. It's a conversation between two people about life over dinner. It just blew my mind that there could be a film that's that. And it's certainly one that the more you watch it as you get older, like the Before trilogy, you get older, you get more cynical, more critical thinking, more life experience, more regret, more everything. And it changes as you watch it, So that's I'm excited to revisit this one pretty soon. And hey, wouldn't you know, Louis freaking Malle. So he did so many kinds of things. From Elevator to the Gallows to My Dinner with Andre. Are you kidding me? I mean, absolutely insane that you can have that much of a range. Had to get this film. Maybe you already saw it as I brought it over. This is a beautiful and colorful digipack. And I'll lead this in by saying, when I was thinking of going to NYU for cinema studies, a trip up to New York and ahead of that made me have this idea. I was playing in New York, playing some gigs before college with my band. And a friend of my friend Anthony's said, you need to come to NYU and study cinema studies. It's so awesome. You watch films, you write about them, and that's college. I was like, that sounds amazing. And I was just getting into film. And he gave me an assignment. Shout out to Josh, if you ever see this. He gave me an assignment for 3 films to watch. One of them was Do the Right Thing. And he said, it was The Abyss and Do the Right Thing. I actually forget what the third one was now. Maybe it was just the 2. But Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing was one of them. So I did watch it on his assignment. And yeah, I mean, I'd say it's like the best Spike Lee film. It's just kind of probably unanimously considered that by folks. But had to have this one for the collection. Love Spike, even though his work is hit or miss for me these days. Oh, interesting. I was not expecting this case for this. Okay, we have one now. That's Steven Soderbergh, who I love. Especially, I mean, he retired and then he came back and he became so prolific lately. Of course, I'm excited for Presence, his new film. But Soderbergh's earlier work and mid-career work is some of my favorite stuff. And wow, I was not anticipating this slipcase. This is fascinating. Okay, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. His first feature, if I'm not mistaken, 89. This is what put him on the scene, a big indie film boom. But this slides, and you can see the grain of the television image, or the TV scan lines almost are printed onto this semi-translucent clamshell. That's really cool. Yeah, I almost wonder if they had to use Andy McDowell's face contractually at that size, because it is a little bit of a, I'm not sure it's completely why they chose it that way. Very interesting package. We have only the black and the small type there. Wow, this is cool. I love how minimal this is. Even the first page, just minimal black type. Wow, this entire book is just black. Oh, but cool, there's a diary in here. I mean, I love Soderbergh, man. I love him. So, had to have this. That's so cool. The little C is printed on there, and the spine information is printed onto that, and the white type is printed on. It's very neat. I want to keep this in good shape. This slip case is almost like the original Brazil was on Criterion, sliding over the top. So it's very thin compared to most Criterion discs. So it might stick out just slightly on the shelf, but it'll be okay. Oh, here's another hard shell. And wow, another Terry Gilliam that's definitely underappreciated, I think. Although I haven't rewatched it in a while. I might change my mind on it, but in high school, in middle school, 1991, I was 10 years old and I saw this in theaters. My mom took me to movies every week. Thank you, Mom. I love you. And I got to see The Fisher King in real time and loved it at the time, even at 10 years old. And you realize, this is a great director, you know, later down the line. This is Terry Gilliam and Jeff Bridges, of course, Robin Williams. Really cool cover, too. So, love The Fisher King. Always had to have it. We have two more. Second to last one. I don't know how climactic this will be. The penultimate disc in my box is a Michele Antonioni film. I do love Antonioni, but not... it's not one of my favorites of his, but I still had to have it. This is almost an entry-level film school selection always, because it's kind of about the image and its blow-up. I love this slipcase here. That is really cool. Very nice. I wasn't sure about this when I first saw it, because the original poster is so iconic with him shooting in the background of bread. But here we have a really graphic interior, which I'm really a big fan of. We have a big old perfect bound book right here. Blow up. Red backgrounds. Red, that field of red, very much associated with the film and its key art and the history of its key art. The artwork here, arts. Oh, okay, interesting. Rodrigo Corral, who also makes great typographic covers. Love Rodrigo. And Zach Tebal. Zach Tebal. So 2 designers credited. You don't see that very often. But very nice. I love that slipcase. Yeah, it's got like that swinging 60s thing about it, but it's also an art film. That was an important one at the time. And I still think there's a lot to appreciate about it, even though my favorite Antonionis are more like Le Clis, L'Avventura, La Notte, the trilogy, and then Red Desert, and some of those. Okay, the last one, it just turns out, is The Silence of the Lambs. On Election Day, Hannibal Lecter. Wow. I recorded this video on Election Day. I'm probably releasing it on Election Day. And Hannibal freaking Lecter, are you kidding me? Come on. I can't get away from Trump. But no, we are not going to associate this film with Trump. We're going to rebrand it back in our brains as the great Jonathan Demme picture with Hopkins and Jodie Foster. Really cool art. And I'll close by giving a shout out to who designed this. It's really hard to top or to even compare to the original theatrical poster, which is so iconic. But nonetheless, we have a cool Rorschach series of designs, and I want to shout out the artist as well. Illustrations by There Is Studio and Eric Skillman himself doing the design work. So that'll do it. That's my Criterion haul. I've never had that big of a Criterion haul. Probably the biggest I've had that was that big or comparable was when I graduated high school, and I did initially take a bunch of my, like, you know, very lucky and generous graduation presents, like from friends and family that like kind of gave you a $20 check here and there, or a $50 check. Again, very lucky to have that that kind of community in my life as a young man. And I bought a bunch of Criterions, and it's been a long time. And I wore out my welcome with my freebies as a Criterion designer. I don't want to bug them anymore, and had to support my favorite film company working, and everything they've done with the channel has been amazing. Shout out to everyone at Criterion, Eric, Sarah, Peter, love you guys, and all the producers who I've gotten to work with. Keep up the amazing work, and that's my Criterion haul, and I'll be back in another video maybe at some point soon. So that's it. Enjoy great cinema. Talk to you later.